Rolling.
What's going on, man?
Well, living the dream.
We got us a new guy with us today. Joe the lawyer. He's new to me. I know he's done this before.
This is the second go-around, guys. Come on.
No, it is for sure. Well, you know, you were so popular, the fans were just demanding that we bring
downloads.
All three of them.
Yeah. Yeah, we went from 2 to 3 listeners. And so we're
pour me a whiskey shot.
Right.
I'm glad you said that because I need to crack my beer open.
Well, there you go. So there's 2 teetotalers in the group today.
Yep.
Water, beer, and I'm drinking bulletproof coffee. So
Bulletproof coffee. What's in that?
Well, it's going to be butter, turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper, and some MCT oil. So I'm feeding the brain.
Does that like clean you out or what?
Well,
how does that work?
Yeah.
You round it out by listening to chakra bells.
There you go. That's exactly. That's pretty much it. You get that tuning fork and just feels really good.
Right.
Hey, do they sell that retail?
They do. There's a company that sells a product called Bulletproof Coffee, but it's so much cheaper and better to make it at home. Mm-hmm. You just use grass-fed butter.
Well, I was just hoping I could go to Dallas and steal it, be under $750, and I wouldn't get
Well,
prosecuted.
you could do that.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that we're going there first because we love road trips to Dallas, and now it's kind of like a dash and dine.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
free meals for everyone.
Free meals for everybody, because according to the DA in Dallas,
and his name is,
I can't pronounce that clown's name.
John Creuzot.
Yeah, Creuzot.
Okay.
Yeah, Creuzot.
Crazy Nut. That's
Crazy
what we're
Nut.
going
There we
with.
go.
Call him
All
John Crazy. How's that?
John Crazy. Yeah, so this dude's drawing a lot of attention from the governor, from Cleat, all the law enforcement agencies in the area.
Police unions.
All the police unions are loving him.
Everybody. But what's funny is, let's do a little background on this guy. Okay. So he's basically been newly elected into the office, right? District Attorney's office.
On Soros money.
Yeah, and so I don't know much about his campaign because I really don't spend much time looking into the people in Dallas, because to me that's like another country.
Yeah.
And they're all crazy as hell up there, so I leave them alone.
Who gives a shit about Dallas?
Yeah, I really don't care about Dallas.
The big buzzword, though, is Soros. Everybody loves to throw the Soros. Apparently, this is a real thing, though. This is not Alex Jones material. He really has gone and taken some of Soros' money.
He has, yeah. It's kind of
what's being reported.
It is, and I don't know. I just kind of was wanting to hear Joe's take on the legality in the career suicide that this guy just committed.
Well, legality is probably not from a standpoint. It's probably legal because prosecutors have prosecutorial discretion.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, does he have to bring charges? No. Can the governor do something about it? Maybe. Can the police unions do something about it? Maybe. I mean, there's going to have to be some political fallout before anybody steps in. I mean, other DAs around have said, we're not doing this stupid shit. Right. We're going to prosecute crimes. Honestly, the best argument that I've heard against it or about this particular decisions that he's made is that it basically affects small business, right? And I was joking about the bulletproof coffee, but what's to stop somebody from going in and fucking shoplifting? As long as it's under $750, they get it free and they get away with it.
Right.
And all these small businesses.
What is their recourse?
Well, nothing. If they could sue them for
civilly.
civil.
I mean, they could go civilly after them, I would imagine.
But you're gonna sue some poor lady for $700?
Yeah, I brought it up only because I want to make sure that there is something recourse. It may not be the recourse you like.
Well, let me ask you this: what if you took the law in your own hands and shot somebody as they were robbing you? Where would that leave you?
Probably getting prosecuted. I wouldn't want to pull the trigger,
especially by Joe
like
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. Well, it's funny because when we look at this, his first explanation was to curtail overcrowding in jails on basically frivolous, nonviolent breaking of the law.
Right.
And then he expanded it into
pharmaceutical. Legal pharmaceutical.
Yeah, legal pharmaceutical
Does
theft.
he pin his actions to studies at all, or?
Yeah, he tries to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's really one of those things to where I think he's more or less he's been put in that seat as a political mouthpiece, or actually social change mouthpiece.
Yeah, he's social engineering.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's going with his feeling, not interpretation of law, but his feelings of what's wrong with society and how we can fix them.
So I liked how you just said that, Joe, was you've basically given social justice a seat at the legal table.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And that's the whole part of the Todd was talking about Soros. Happened here in Harris County too. Our DA was elected on Soros money as well.
So that's actually a cultural change too.
It is, for sure. And we're starting to see that more and more in elections, not just at the national level now, but we're starting to see more and more of it on the statewide level. Like Texas, for example, has been a big target for those guys.
Right.
And so they're going to get people in any way they can, and through social media. And well, take a look at this Beto O'Rourke guy. I mean, no substance whatsoever. And that was the sky falling.
All right, yeah. We're dropping stuff.
Yeah,
it's
we're
cool.
dropping stuff. Yeah.
Everybody maintain.
That was the microphone the NSA stuck in my office. But it's funny because we have these organizations that are rallying around candidates.
Yeah.
And they get this uneducated, socially aware, touchy-feely group of people to go in and start voting for these candidates.
Right.
Because rules are uncomfortable for them. They don't like rules. They like the feel of it.
I think a lot of what this guy was going after was vote as well. I think he looked at poor citizens that would potentially steal and say, you know what, if I give these folks a pass, they're probably more likely to vote for me come election time.
Sure.
And who knows, I might want to be mayor next time around.
Right. Since we can't get the hard white government to give you stuff,
right,
we're just going to allow you to go take it yourself.
Right.
That's basically, it's a plea to minorities, it's a plea to poverty, and it's a plea to lawbreakers, basically.
Well, it's a plea to specific minorities, because if you look at the majority of convenience stores, they're owned by minorities. Mm-hmm. They are. It's just a fact.
No, go ahead.
So you have these minorities that own these businesses. Let's say you have, and we've seen this incident happen numerous times, where you have bands of roaming teenagers descend on a convenience store or a gas station, and they go in and they snatch and grab. And it's all a big joke. It's all a big planned event. But what is that going to end up costing that store owner now that he has no real... I mean, are the cops going to show up and chase... What reason do the cops have to show up and chase people down now? They don't, because they can't prosecute. So they're not going to be prosecuted.
So I have a picture in my mind of a kid with a barcode scanner on his phone.
Right.
And this gang moves in. Two guys come in the front door and hold everybody at bay. The other guy gets a basket, and the guy's scanning his phone furiously. Gets to that $700 mark. Stop!
Yeah.
So as he goes out the door, the cops roll up on him.
Yep.
Say, freeze! Give me your stuff. He goes, wait a minute.
Even criminals got a bean counter.
Hang on, I'm going to put it in QuickBooks.
Yeah. I mean, I can see this happening. Why wouldn't it? I mean, I can see somebody using an app for that, like a barcode app. Hey, man, it's $700.
Available at the Apple Store. Let's go. Let's
we're all good here.
Start the programming today.
You know. But anyway, you were going to say something. It was
I got to thinking about what this guy is doing, and I'm like, in some small way, it almost appears to be sort of a stab at reparations of sorts.
Yeah, for sure. Because he's talking about no jail time for technical violations of your probation.
Right.
That's another thing that's huge. That actually is huge, because this is a person who's already been in the system, probably multiple times. Okay, and then now he's back out, and who's declaring what the technicality is? Right. I don't know. I think it's a bad idea. I think there's enough people up in arms about it where I'm hoping this will change, because this is not good.
Well, it's a pattern all across the country. You have judicial or legal authorities, whether they be prosecutors or district attorneys or U.S. attorneys, that are using their power and position to push a political ideology or social engineering ideology. Yeah. And it's a shame, because that's not what the judicial system is for. But that's what Soros wanted to do, and he identified certain political races throughout the country and dumped money into them in order to elect like-minded prosecutorial figures to carry out his social re-engineering of the United States. So
sure, no doubt. It's funny, because when you look at how they approach this, and basically the run-up to it is that all these guys claim to be constitutional scholars. Okay, when I see a liberal that claims to be a constitutional scholar,
Yeah.
that looks like somebody's going
It's kind of an oxymoron if you think about it.
pretty
really.
much. They're basically going through the program looking for loopholes and ways to circumvent the law.
Right.
And they do it in an egregious fashion that creates actually the most harm, because you're pandering. Now you're pandering. You're basically turning around and saying, look, it's okay. Let's take Baltimore, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, say something happens like in Houston or Dallas that happened in Baltimore.
Right.
And the police get involved. Okay, and the police go into a neighborhood where these people feel like my rights have been violated, so I'm going to go steal $749
Right.
worth of stuff out of a store, and everybody in my neighborhood's going to go do this, and we're going to stand outside and dare the police to do anything about it.
Right.
That's, to me, I see that as the next level of protest, is the fact that they're going to be anything below $500 or whatever it is, they're not even going to show up for.
Right.
I don't think they will, because they don't want the confrontation.
Well, the cops have no reason to show up. What are they going to do when they get there? I mean,
Right.
you can't. You've already got a DA that said they're not going to prosecute them. So, as law enforcement, what are you left with as an option? I can show up and tell the guy to stop, but I know if I arrest him,
Right.
nothing's going to happen. So why would I waste my time doing
You'll
that?
inconvenience them for just a short
For a short
few
period
hours,
of time,
yeah.
and probably create some
Okay,
kind of
so-
altercation that gets recorded.
Right.
You know, and then you have
Look,
another.
Your
Michael
liability is
Brown.
huge. Your liability, from a law enforcement perspective, your liability is huge at that point.
But the upside to it is if you're stopping this person, they probably have other felonies on their
More than
rap sheet.
likely.
You know what I mean? They're probably in possession of something that's illegal.
Well,
Or they probably have wants and warrants on them. I mean, those are the fools who are going to go do the ridiculous stuff
Right.
that we're just joking about right now. You know, that's the fool that's going to go do that.
Well, and the police unions have come out against this.
Oh yeah,
this
they're
DA, Mr. Crazy.
They're calling for him to be removed.
Yeah, I don't see him finishing out his term if he continues down this path.
No, not at all. So my question is the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
Okay, so the sheriff's office is typically considered law of the land.
right.
That guy can basically do a lot of things to a lot of people that
He's got a big
typical-
stick to swing.
the
There's
typical
no doubt
law-
about it.
Yeah, that typical law enforcement cannot do.
Right.
So I'm just wondering what the county sheriff would be able to do.
Well, he can arrest them, but
Yeah.
they get back to the facility and the prosecutor decides not to pursue charges, they're going to get released.
Yeah, because he's going to end up in the city. He's going to end up in the city jail. And
The
that's
DA
where-
will?
No,
I'm talking about if you arrest the DA for not enforcing the law.
Well, yeah, then
Because you'd have to, in order to not enforce the law, that means you have to break the law or rewrite the law.
right.
You can't interpret the law and say, well, no, it really meant to say this, because that's for a judge.
Well, you would have to get...
That's your Supreme Court and your judge.
I would think your state attorney would probably get involved. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the attorney general
Or attorney general is what I mean.
for Texas would have to get involved and try to use a state statutory provision on failure to carry out their statutory duties or what have you to have them removed from office.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I would think that the sheriff's office would be the one that would do that.
Right. I think the mayor might
you?
have some swing as
Yeah.
well. But I don't.
Yeah.
The mayor is probably just about from the same stripe that Charles Crazy.
So
or
in the
Mr. Crazy is.
So in the pecking order, the district attorney reports to who?
Well,
the AG?
No, the DA is the head law enforcement official for the county, for
Okay.
Dallas County.
So that is sheriff's.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the sheriff is the arresting officer, the actual
The
law
agent
enforcement.
for.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
agent for.
Okay. So-
And then the mayor of Dallas would have really nothing to say about
I
it.
wouldn't think so,
He
yeah.
Dallas City.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it's county at that point. That's why I was
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
sheriff.
Yeah.
Because you have law enforcement that is operating within the municipalities. You have the constable's office, you have local or municipal police, then you have the state police that are all moving in and out of these jurisdictions
And they're all enforcing something.
within that jurisdiction.
A mayor
Yeah.
just sitting at the top of the heap. That's
Right.
it.
So what ends up happening is, say you get picked up by the DPS officer, you're taken to the county jail.
Right.
So you have multiple jurisdictions going through that county that this guy is making the decision on whether we're going to book him or let him loose.
Yeah, because any of the officers, basically, they pin your crime to a location.
Right.
And then whatever the jurisdiction is.
Because I know a lot of times they don't make an arrest until the district attorney basically signs off on the arrest.
So are we going to start like a Deadpool on this of when the first person is? It's going to try to take them up on this offer of stealing under $750 or whatever.
I'm
the
sure
actual
it's
number.
already happened.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that it already hasn't happened.
Right.
that he's already made some decisions that have let people off for
Right.
small crimes.
I'm just wondering if there is something specific he's mining for or getting ready for up there.
My guess is votes. It's either vote. I see what you're digging at,
Yeah.
but I think his primary concern
Right.
is votes. I think he took some marching orders, like Joe was talking
Right.
about, and they said, we're going to try this little social experiment. You're the test dummy. Let's run the plan.
Right.
And here we are today. It's made the news cycle now, and people, I think they're waiting to see how people react, especially after the first one hits.
Well, I was just thinking about Second Amendment type groups that go out and want to have a word about their rights.
Yeah.
How is he going to respond to them? What's his view on those people? So if you're stealing pharmaceutical drugs or food, because he's basically making it say, he's trying to say that we're so impoverished that the law has to let people steal food to survive. That's what it sounds like to me.
That's
It
exactly
sounds like
what
his
he
plea.
yeah,
That's his plea, and it's not the case.
Right.
That's socialism.
Yeah. Well, basically.
The government's not going to give it to you, so I am. That's pretty much what he said in a statement.
Yeah.
That
He's letting everybody
paraphrasing
know
it,
he's
condensing
going to
it.
be their Robin Hood.
Right.
basically.
Right.
Basically. Well, it's funny because I first of all, I would have never guessed that this would happen in Texas.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. I see it as a black stain on my state. It's
Well, when you look
god-awful.
at the progressive cities of our state, you have Austin,
Yeah.
and then you have the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and then now we have Harris County.
Yeah, it's pretty much all of them. It's the big cities.
Well, Harris
that
County
flip.
is the stealthiest one of all of them
Yeah.
right now. I mean, we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and in the last 28 months, 140 lawyers have left the Harris County District Attorney's Office. 128 lawyers in 28 months. And there are some people, including the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association, that think, and I'll just read the quote from this article that I just pulled up. There are some folks who just will not embrace Kim Ogg's progressive views of trying to use treatment courts, drug treatment diversion, and less reflexive use of the death penalty. If Jesus came down and told them it was the right thing, they wouldn't do it. And this is a guy, the former president of the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association.
Can I inject something here?
Yeah,
I kind of hoping that Jesus Christ would also bitch slap Ken off.
Well, I know he's meeting somebody today that got burned last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, the King.
That's right. The guy that did the
former
drag
Jasper guys.
Yeah, he drug
Bird, James
that's
Bird.
it.
I
Yeah.
can't
James
believe
Bird.
that dude. It took him that long. to
20
kill
years.
him.
21 years.
Yeah. So a good friend of ours was the court reporter during that case.
Okay.
And it's sad because they're fanning the flames of that story about dragging a guy and dragging a guy.
It's opening the wound back
But there
up.
is so much more to that story that we're not going to get into here.
Yeah.
That may change your mind on some things. Now, granted, the guy shouldn't have killed the guy.
Yeah, I was going to.
But there's a lot of backstory behind that led into that 20 years of appeals and things like that. Because it was a terrible thing to have happen to anybody. But it started in prison and ended on the streets in Jasper, Texas, which is unfortunate. And what's sad about that whole thing is the way they spun up that little town in East Texas.
Yeah.
Basically calling it the racist bastion of East Texas, which it's not.
But
It was a media circus
like-
for months.
But not surprising for Jasper, though.
Yeah.
Jasper has historically been that way.
There's good people there, though. I mean, you can't paint with the
Oh
brush,
no!
you know?
I'm not
It's
saying that they're not all.
It's
Yeah.
not Vider. Yeah. But anyway, I just think it's interesting. Do you have any closing comments on this guy, or does anybody have anything else they want to add to this one? Because I think this guy's a short timer.
Yeah, I do too.
It's a matter of time before he gets pulled over and arrested for something.
Yeah.
He's gonna
He'll
get
be drunk.
popped.
He'll be drunk or
he's gonna
pop for dope or
or a
something.
pedophile. He'll be a pedophile or something
Yeah.
like that.
At some point in his career, I see Creuzot being pulled over one night and him beginning the conversation with, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
I'm the dude playing the dude disguised as the other dude.
Legally.